It has been 6 years since the NEET, the National Eligibility Entrance Examination, became mandatory for medical examinations across the country, including in Tamil Nadu. Yet, questions are being raised over its efficacy. Can one nation, one test be justified in a vast country like India, where you have multiple boards of education? Vanakkam, this is D. Suresh Kumar, and thank you for joining me in this episode of the Hindu Focus Tamil Nadu. Why are we debating about NEET today? We had a very tragic episode in Chennai earlier this month. A young medical aspirant who did not score adequate marks to get admission to a medical college ended his life. A day after his death, his father also sadly died by suicide. This was preceded by Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi's assertion that left to himself, he would never ever grant assent to a bill seeking exemption from NEET for Tamil Nadu. He felt that NEET was a determinant of merit, and not having NEET would leave the students of Tamil Nadu intellectually disabled. Subsequently, the DMK youth wing conducted a statewide one-day fast last Sunday, where they demanded abolition of NEET as well as condemned the governor's remarks. Now, we need to look at the entrance examination policy of Tamil Nadu, for which we need to travel back in time. It is not as if Tamil Nadu never had an entrance examination. Only in 2010, when NEET was brought in, there was strong opposition to it, both by the then Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi as well as the leader of opposition Jayalalithaa. But prior to that, in 1984-85, the MGR government had introduced the Tamil Nadu Professional Courses Entrance Examination. At that point, there was criticism over weightage given to interview marks for students who were seeking admission in engineering and medical colleges, and therefore MGR brought in an entrance test. The DMK, its leader Karunanidhi, strongly opposed it back then, but MGR remained firm in his decision. Subsequently, even when the DMK came to power, they retained the TNPCE. But in June 2005, the Jayalalithaa government felt that the entrance exam was actually spawning coaching centers, which was unaffordable to rural students, to students belonging to economically weaker sections, and she issued a government order abolishing the entrance test and instead mandating that admission would take place on the basis of class 12 marks. This was struck down by the courts. Her subsequent attempt to grant exemption to state government students alone from the entrance test also failed. The DMK government, which came to power in 2006, then set up a committee headed by academician M. Anandakrishnan to study this whole impact of entrance exam on engineering and medical admissions. On the basis of the recommendations of the Anandakrishnan committee, the government adopted a legislation abolishing Tamil Nadu Professional Courses Entrance Examination in 2007. Since then, admissions to professional courses were based on the marks scored by students in class 12th. And to ensure parity between students belonging to different boards of education such as the CBSE, the ICSE and the State Board of Education, the government introduced a mark normalization scheme which provided some element of parity there. Against this backdrop, when NEET became a mandate for medical admission in 2016, Tamil Nadu strongly opposed it, and it obtained exemption for 1 year from the courts. The following year in 2017, Tamil Nadu still moved for an exemption, but the Supreme Court rejected this government's effort and mandated that NEET must be followed across the country. This was in a way a turning point here, because around this time, one of the brightest students, Anita, who came from a backward district, Ariyalur, she had moved the Supreme Court challenging NEET, but after the petition was turned down, a dejected Anita ended her life. Her death became a rallying point for political parties in Tamil Nadu. They felt a meritorious girl who would have otherwise got medical admissions on the basis of her excellent scores in class 12th had died because of NEET. And this turned into a rallying point for parties and a central point to oppose the BJP government, because that particular year, the Union Minister of Finance, Nirmala Sitharaman, had told journalists in Chennai that the central government will cooperate with Tamil Nadu to get exemption from NEET for one more year through an ordinance route. However, when the ordinance was eventually brought in, the central government opposed it in the Supreme Court. Since then, on and off, there have been suicides by students and political upheavals. The AIADMK government had brought in two legislation seeking exemption from NEET for Tamil Nadu, but the president did not grant his assent for it. Eventually, when the DMK came to power in 2021, they set up the Justice A.K. Rajan committee to study the impact of NEET, and on the basis of the recommendations of the Rajan committee report, they adopted a bill seeking to exempt Tamil Nadu from NEET based admissions and instead admit students on the basis of class 12 scores. This bill was initially returned by the governor to the government. Following this, in a historical move, the Tamil Nadu Assembly re-adopted the bill for the first time and sent it back to the governor. The bill is now pending assent with the president. Against this backdrop, we need to see the current controversy that has emerged following the death of a student and his father. Now, there are two narratives in this. One political narrative which has been taken forward by the BJP and the governor and those supporting them is that NEET has ensured meritocracy. The argument is that ever since NEET was introduced, commercialization of medical college admissions has ended. There is no more sale of medical seats according to them. The other political narrative is by the DMK, AIADMK and the other parties that want abolition of this exam. They have argued that NEET has ensured that only the rich and the elite who can afford expensive coaching get into medical colleges, while putting at a serious disadvantage students belonging to the rural backgrounds and the urban poor. Along the way, the Tamil Nadu government also introduced a 7.5% horizontal reservation for NEET qualified students from the government school system who studied in government schools in class 6 to 12th. Now, that has ensured that more government school students have got admission into medical colleges. Now, both these narratives of the opposing parties do not actually present the complete picture, because on the one hand, the DMK and the AIADMK also feel, though they are on opposing camps, they feel that NEET has driven students to commit suicide. But the reality is that Tamil Nadu students are quite capable of cracking entrance examination. So, you cannot say that NEET alone is driving them to end their lives. But the reality is also that coaching is unaffordable to the rural and poorer sections of the society, and the fact remains that NEET has not ensured merit. In fact, it has been proven by a statement of a friend of the boy who recently ended his life. This boy said that he scored lower marks than his friend, but his father was able to pay 25 lakh rupees as fees, and therefore he enrolled in a medical course run by a deemed university. So, that shows that even students with lower scores can actually get into medical colleges today. Now, we do not know if the president will eventually grant assent to this bill that Tamil Nadu's Assembly had adopted. But a core point remains that both Karunanidhi and Jayalalithaa and then subsequent rulers have also underlined the fact that imposing an entrance examination across the country, a uniform examination, is actually an infringement on state autonomy. The president needs to take note of this argument, because one, NEET has not ensured merit, and second, it is an infringement of state autonomy. The other point that needs to be taken note of is that the Tamil Nadu bill actually seeks exemption from NEET only for filling up seats under the government quota, which means NEET is still mandatory for admission into your deemed universities, into the management quota seats and for the all India quota seats. We do not know whether the president will actually see the merits of this bill and grant approval for it. Nonetheless, we shall revisit this topic. Until then, this is D. Suresh Kumar signing off. Thank you, but please do log on to thehindu.com for more such videos.